Have you ever stopped to wonder why people actually fall in love with you? Think about it. Out of billions of people in the world, what makes someone choose you? What makes them feel that spark, that deep connection, that pull they can't explain? Most people believe love is some random accident, like luck or fate. But the truth is, people fall in love for only two very specific reasons. And once you understand them, everything about your relationships, your dating life, even the way you see yourself, will completely shift. In fact, here's what might shock you. Love isn't just about looks, timing, or chemistry. Yes, those things play a role, but they aren't the real reason someone chooses you over everyone else. The real reason runs much deeper. It's about a psychological and emotional trigger that you either spark or you don't. And here's the best part. Once you know these two reasons, you can stop guessing, stop overthinking, and stop questioning your worth in love. You'll finally understand what actually makes someone stay, commit, and build a lasting bond with you. In today's video, I'm going to reveal exactly what these two reasons are, how they show up in real relationships, and how you can use this knowledge to create love that feels effortless and real. So stay with me until the very end, because if you've ever wondered why some people seem to fall for you instantly while others pull away, you're about to get the clarity you've been searching for. Love often feels like a mystery, like something we can't quite put into words. We describe it as sparks, butterflies, or chemistry. But the truth is, people don't fall in love randomly. There is always a reason. And when you look closely, you'll see patterns that repeat over and over again in every lasting relationship. People fall in love because at a deep level, love fulfills a human need. We are wired for connection, for belonging, for being seen and understood in ways no one else has ever made us feel. When someone comes along and awakens those feelings inside us, we can't help but be drawn closer. That's why you'll often hear people say, "I don't know why, but something about this person just feels different." It's not an accident. It's because one of the core reasons has been triggered. What most people don't realize is that love isn't built on big, grand gestures alone. It's not about constant gifts, trips, or words. Love grows in the small, consistent ways someone makes us feel valued and safe. We fall in love with the person who creates emotional space for us to be ourselves, who doesn't just hear our words but listens between them, who sees not just who we are today, but who we're becoming. There's also something magnetic about recognition. When someone reflects back to us our worth, when they make us feel important and special, our brain associates them with positive emotions. That's why love often feels like home. It's not just passion, it's safety, comfort, and belonging. And yet it's also excitement, curiosity, and growth. The balance of both is what creates real attraction. Falling in love isn't about perfection, either. In fact, people don't fall in love with the perfect partner. They fall in love with the one who makes them feel like the best version of themselves. Someone who challenges them just enough, supports them deeply, and gives them permission to be vulnerable without judgment. When you strip away the myths, what's left is this truth. People fall in love because of the way you make them feel. Not just in one moment, but consistently over time. When you awaken both safety and admiration. When you show up with presence and value. When you hold standards that inspire respect. Love isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And that's why the two reasons you're about to learn are so powerful. They're not theories, they're not guesses. They're the foundations of every lasting relationship. Once you see them clearly, you'll understand why people fall for you, and more importantly, how to create love that doesn't just start strong, but actually lasts. Before love takes root, there's something even more powerful that begins the process. Attraction. Attraction is not simply about looks, status, or charm. While those might spark initial interest, they are not what sustain a deep pull between two people. The psychology of attraction runs much deeper, and it explains why we sometimes meet someone and instantly feel that magnetic connection we can't explain. At its core, attraction is about emotional resonance. Human beings are wired to seek out what feels familiar, safe, yet also exciting. On a subconscious level, we're constantly asking ourselves, does this person understand me? Do I feel alive around them? Do they see something in me that others overlook? When the answer is yes, attraction begins to deepen beyond surface-level desire. One of the strongest psychological drivers of attraction is validation of identity. People are drawn to those who mirror back the best version of who they are, or who they want to become. When you're around someone who makes you feel capable, confident, or worthy, your brain begins to associate them with positive self-image. This creates a bond that goes far beyond looks. Another factor is emotional safety combined with unpredictability. It might sound contradictory, but lasting attraction requires both. Safety allows someone to open up without fear of rejection, while unpredictability keeps the dynamic fresh and stimulating. If it's all safety and no mystery, things feel flat. If it's all unpredictability and no safety, it feels unstable. The balance of the two keeps attraction alive. Psychologists also talk about the power of scarcity and value perception. When something feels rare, it feels more desirable. This is why boundaries and standards are so crucial. When you don't give unlimited access to your time, energy, or affection, people instinctively see you as more valuable. It's not about playing games. It's about showing that your love is not cheap, and that it must be earned through consistency and respect. There's also the role of nonverbal cues, body language, tone, and presence. Often people fall into attraction not because of the exact words spoken, but because of how someone makes them feel in their presence. Confidence, warmth, and authenticity radiate in ways that bypass logic and speak directly to the heart. And finally, deep attraction is tied to emotional imprinting. We remember people not for what they said, but for how they made us feel during significant emotional moments. If someone is there when you're vulnerable, if they inspire laughter in your sadness, or if they bring clarity in your confusion, your brain forms an attachment to them. Attraction isn't an accident. It's a psychological response to how someone influences your emotions, your sense of identity, and your future vision of yourself. That's why when we talk about the two reasons people truly fall in love, they are always linked back to these deep psychological triggers. They're the foundation of why someone can meet you once and feel something unforgettable. When people think about falling in love, they often imagine sparks, passion, or physical chemistry. And while those things might light the fire at the start, what truly makes someone fall deeply and stay in love is emotional safety. This is the first and most powerful reason people fall in love, because without it, nothing else lasts. Emotional safety is the invisible bond that allows two people to open up without fear of being judged, rejected, or abandoned. It's what makes someone feel like they can show their flaws, reveal their fears, and express their dreams without worrying about how the other person will react. When someone feels safe with you, they don't just enjoy your presence, they crave it, because you've become the one place in the world where they can truly be themselves. Think about it. We live in a world where most people wear masks every single day. They perform at work, they filter themselves online, and they hide parts of who they are from friends and family. But when a person finds someone who doesn't require a mask, who listens without judgment, and accepts them fully, that person becomes irreplaceable. That's the essence of emotional safety. It's not about always agreeing or never having conflict. In fact, real safety shows up during conflict. When disagreements happen, do you create space for understanding, or do you tear the other person down? Love grows when both people know they can make mistakes, stumble, and still be met with compassion. That reassurance builds trust, and trust is the soil where love takes root. Emotional safety also creates vulnerability, and vulnerability is magnetic. When someone shares something personal, and it's received with care, it deepens intimacy. They feel seen, valued, and understood. This is why some relationships progress quickly, while others fizzle out. When emotional safety is present, connection accelerates. For men and women alike, this principle is universal. Men who are often conditioned to hide emotions, especially fall deeply for the person who gives them permission to be human. And women who long for emotional depth are drawn to the partner who shows consistency, honesty, and protection of their heart. At the end of the day, emotional safety answers the silent question every person carries in love. Can I trust you with the most fragile parts of me? When the answer is yes, attraction evolves into attachment, and attachment evolves into love. This is why so many relationships that start with excitement eventually fade, because without safety, passion burns out. But with safety, love only grows stronger with time. It becomes the anchor that keeps two people together through storms, challenges, and changes. So the first reason people truly fall in love is not mystery or appearance, but the feeling of home you create in their heart. That's the kind of love no one ever wants to let go of. The second reason people fall in love is because of the energy of value and the power of standards. At first, this might sound simple, but it's one of the deepest truths about attraction and love. People don't just fall in love with you because of what you give to them. They fall in love with you because of the way you value yourself. Value is not about being perfect, rich, or flawless. It's about how you carry yourself, how you honor your time, and how you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. When someone senses that you have strong standards, it immediately shifts the way they see you. You are no longer just another option. You are someone rare, someone to be cherished, someone they must rise up to deserve. Think about it. When people treat something as precious, it's because it has been presented as valuable. A diamond, for example, is just a stone until we agree on its worth. In relationships, your energy works the same way. If you show up as someone who constantly bends, compromises too much, or accepts poor treatment, you unintentionally lower your perceived value. But when you communicate through your actions that your love is rare, it inspires deep respect and commitment. Standards are how you teach others to treat you. They are not rules to control someone else, but guidelines that protect your self-worth. When you say no to behavior that doesn't honor you, when you step back instead of chasing, when you hold yourself with dignity, you radiate a powerful energy that people can't ignore. It tells them, if you want to be in my life, you need to bring your best. Here's the secret. People fall in love not with what comes easily, but with what they have to earn. When someone invests effort to win your heart, they value it more deeply. That effort creates emotional investment, and that emotional investment becomes the glue that keeps love alive. This doesn't mean being cold or playing hard to get. True standards come from self-respect, not games. It's about knowing what you want, knowing what you deserve, and not being afraid to walk away from anything less. And ironically, the moment you stop chasing love is usually the moment it begins to chase you. When you combine emotional safety with the energy of value and standards, you create a magnetic force that pulls people in. They feel both secure and challenged, both accepted and inspired. That balance is irresistible. So remember this, people don't just fall in love with how much you give to them. They fall in love with the way you value yourself, because the way you treat yourself sets the tone for how they will treat you. And when they recognize that your love is precious, they'll never want to let it go. Understanding the two reasons people fall in love is powerful, but the real transformation happens when you learn how to apply them in everyday life. It's not enough to know that emotional safety and value are essential. You have to live them out in your actions, your words, and the way you carry yourself in your relationships. Let's start with emotional safety. The most effective way to create it is by becoming a consistent and compassionate presence. That means listening to understand, not just to respond. It means being calm during disagreements instead of escalating into blame or defensiveness. It's offering reassurance that even in conflict, your care for the other person does not disappear. Emotional safety isn't about avoiding arguments. It's about handling them in a way that builds trust instead of fear. You create a safe space by respecting boundaries, honoring vulnerability, and showing patience when your partner reveals the raw parts of themselves. Now let's move to value and standards. This part is about how you show up for yourself as much as for your partner. The first rule is to never abandon your own needs in the process of loving someone else. Continue nurturing your passions, your friendships, and your growth. When your life has depth and meaning outside the relationship, you naturally radiate value. Your partner sees you as someone with a full life, not someone dependent on them for happiness, and that inspires respect. Setting standards means being clear about what behaviors you will and will not accept. This doesn't require harsh ultimatums. It's about calmly and confidently stating your truth. For example, if respect is non-negotiable for you, don't laugh off disrespectful comments or tolerate dismissive behavior. Instead, communicate your expectations with strength and kindness. Over time, people learn to rise to the level you set. Applying these principles together is where the magic happens. You can make your partner feel safe by listening deeply, offering support, and being emotionally steady. At the same time, you can maintain your value by keeping your standards high, not overgiving, and ensuring your love comes from a place of strength, not fear. When both pieces are present, safety and value, love flourishes. Your partner feels secure enough to open up, yet challenged enough to keep growing. You become both a safe harbor and a source of inspiration. That combination creates the kind of bond that people not only fall into, but also fight to keep. So if you want to apply this in real life, remember, practice emotional safety daily by showing empathy and consistency, and embody value by holding on to your self-respect and standards. These aren't tricks or strategies, they're ways of being. When you live them authentically, you don't have to chase love, it will naturally deepen, because people always fall in love with the person who makes them feel both protected and inspired. One of the most frustrating things about love is that sometimes it doesn't fail because of a lack of attraction or potential, but because of subtle mistakes that slowly block connection. Many people are unaware they're doing these things, but over time they erode trust, respect, and intimacy. If you want love to last, you need to recognize these patterns and consciously avoid them. The first mistake is abandoning yourself in the relationship. So many people pour everything into the other person, thinking that constant giving will guarantee love. But when you lose touch with your own identity, passions, and standards, you stop being the person your partner first fell for. Love fades when someone feels like you've become dependent rather than equal. Another common mistake is mistaking drama for passion. Some people create tension, jealousy, or chaos because they think it keeps the relationship exciting. But while it might spark temporary intensity, it erodes emotional safety. Love can't thrive in constant chaos. True passion doesn't come from conflict. It comes from two people who feel both challenged and secure at the same time. Third, ignoring communication is a silent relationship killer. Small resentments, unspoken needs, and hidden disappointments pile up until they form a wall between two people. Many assume their partner should just know what they feel, but love doesn't work that way. Without open, honest, and compassionate communication, even the strongest connection eventually weakens. Another mistake is giving love with conditions. When someone feels like they must perform or meet expectations just to be accepted, they never feel safe. Conditional love breeds insecurity, and insecurity blocks vulnerability. People crave to be loved for who they are, not for how well they meet a checklist. One more damaging mistake is tolerating disrespect or crossing your own boundaries. When you allow behavior that hurts you, you not only lose respect for your partner, but they also lose respect for you. It sends the message that your standards aren't real, and once that line is crossed, the energy of value disappears. Without value, love feels weak and replaceable. Finally, one of the most overlooked mistakes is rushing love. When people try to force closeness before trust and safety are built, it backfires. Love needs space to grow naturally. Pressure creates resistance, while patience creates desire. The truth is, most of these mistakes come from fear. Fear of losing someone, fear of not being enough, fear of being alone. But ironically, fear is what suffocates love. When you come from a place of security and self-respect, these mistakes naturally fade away. If you want love to flow instead of being blocked, stay true to yourself, create emotional safety, maintain your value, and let the relationship unfold with patience. Because love doesn't need to be forced or manipulated. It only needs the right environment to grow. Knowledge is powerful, but real transformation only happens when you turn knowledge into action. Now that you understand the two core reasons people fall in love, emotional safety and value through standards, let's create a simple, practical action plan you can start applying right away to inspire lasting love in your life. The first step is self-awareness. Take time to ask yourself honestly, do I make others feel emotionally safe? Do I value myself through the way I set and protect my standards? These questions are not about self-criticism, but about clarity. When you can see where you're strong and where you need to grow, you're already moving closer to lasting love. Next, focus on building emotional safety. Start with small, intentional actions. Listen more than you speak when your partner shares something important. Validate their feelings even if you don't fully agree. Practice calm responses in moments of tension instead of reacting defensively. Small shifts like this create a powerful sense of consistency, which becomes the foundation of trust. And remember, Safety doesn't mean avoiding hard conversations. It means handling them with respect and care. The third step is nurturing your own life. Love thrives when both people bring fullness to the table. Continue pursuing your passions, hobbies, and goals. Maintain meaningful friendships and connections outside of the relationship. When your life is vibrant, your energy naturally communicates value. You become someone who is not only attractive but also inspiring to be around. Now let's talk about setting and maintaining standards. Write down your non-negotiables, the behaviors you refuse to tolerate, the values that matter most, and the way you want to feel in love. By being clear with yourself first, you'll have no confusion when situations arise. The key is consistency. If you communicate a standard but don't enforce it, you weaken its power. But when you calmly uphold your boundaries, others respect you more deeply, and love grows on a foundation of mutual dignity. Another critical step is balance. Lasting love doesn't come from giving endlessly without receiving, nor from demanding without giving. It comes from reciprocity, a rhythm of giving and receiving, listening and being heard, supporting and being supported. Keep checking in with yourself. Am I pouring love from a place of abundance, or am I draining myself hoping for approval? Healthy love is never about losing yourself. It's about becoming more of who you are, while inspiring the same in your partner. The fifth step is patience. Love is not built overnight. It's shaped over time through repeated actions that build trust, consistency, and respect. Don't rush the process or pressure someone into feelings. Instead, focus on creating an environment where love can naturally deepen. The right person won't run away from standards or safety. They'll lean into it because that's what everyone truly desires in love. Finally, embody the energy you want to attract. If you want loyalty, be loyal. If you want respect, model respect. If you want love without fear, show up with love without fear. People are not just listening to your words, they're feeling your energy. When your actions align with your values, you naturally inspire deeper connection. So your action plan is clear. Practice emotional safety daily. Honor your standards without apology. Nurture your own life, and be patient with the process. This isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about becoming the type of person who naturally inspires lasting love. And when you live this way, love won't just find you. It will stay, grow, and flourish for years to come. As we reach the end of this journey together, I want you to take a moment and really let everything we've covered sink in. We began by uncovering the truth about why people actually fall in love. And now you understand it comes down to just two reasons: emotional safety and the energy of value. These two forces are not just theories or abstract ideas. They are the heartbeat of every lasting relationship. Without them, love struggles to survive. With them, love doesn't just last, it thrives. Think about it. When someone feels safe with you, they're free to be their truest self. They don't have to hide behind walls, fear rejection, or pretend to be something they're not. That safety creates a bond so powerful that even time and challenges cannot break it. And when that safety is paired with value, when you live with standards, self-respect, and confidence, you inspire your partner to rise higher, to give more, and to never take you for granted. Together, safety and value form the foundation of love that lasts a lifetime. But here's the most important part. This isn't just about understanding these truths. It's about living them every single day. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to follow a script. And you don't need to play games. You simply need to show up as the most authentic, confident, and compassionate version of yourself. When you do that, you naturally create the conditions where love flourishes. So, what are your next steps? Start small. Ask yourself how you can bring more safety into your relationships today. Maybe it's by listening more deeply, showing more patience, or simply being present without distraction. Then, ask how you can embody greater value. Maybe it's setting a boundary you've been afraid to enforce, investing time in your passions, or carrying yourself with the quiet confidence that says, "My love is worth earning." Remember, the way you love yourself teaches others how to love you. The standards you hold, and the energy you radiate, will always set the tone for your relationships. Don't be afraid to walk away from what doesn't honor you, because every time you choose yourself, you raise the bar for the kind of love you will attract. This is your invitation to stop chasing love and start becoming the person who inspires it. Because when you live with emotional safety and value, you won't have to wonder if love will find you. The right love will be drawn to you, and it will stay. As you move forward, keep practicing these principles. Revisit them when you feel uncertain. Share them with someone who needs to hear them. And most importantly, trust that you are worthy of the kind of love that feels safe, exciting, and lasting. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message resonated with you, take action today, not tomorrow, not someday. Love is built moment by moment, choice by choice, and today you have the power to start shaping the love story you truly deserve. Your next chapter begins now. Step into it with confidence, with clarity, and with the unshakable belief that lasting love is not only possible, it's already waiting for you.